have not played Yu-Gi-Oh! Since before I was a teen. At the time of writing, I am 32. I was there as a young lad on the ground floor of Yu-Gi-Oh's TCG start, and while it was a fad that passed on me, not being helped by accidentally leaving my cards in a hotel on vacation in Myrtle Beach, I did stick with TCGs and was a Magic the Gathering fan after that. As an adult, I recut my teeth on MTG with the release of Theros, played Standard for a number of years, and left once the price of Standard became just as high as the fucking price of Modern. Outside of the occasional EDH game and a fun Pauper-adjacent format called $20, I was out at TCGs again. I did not at all care for playing Magic Online, as it just felt like this bastardization of the human element I enjoyed so much. And then Master Duel released, and for a couple weeks, it was the only thing I saw my friends talk about. I had no idea that so many people were into Yu-Gi-Oh! I was experiencing the worst case of FOMO I could imagine. The game was only out on PC and consoles, and I knew that the only way I was going to have time to play was on mobile. So for the first almost month of the game, I went out of my mind wanting to join my friends on the hot new game and satiated myself the best I could by studying as much as possible about modern Yu-Gi-Oh! When it finally came to mobile, I was simply floored. I had kind of known that Yu-Gi-Oh! Was this game known for one-turn kills, if not first-turn kills, and I had wrongly assumed that this was a product of power creep and balancing. But the way Yu-Gi-Oh! Is structured, it's the logical conclusion to how the game would be played. Let me explain coming to Yu-Gi-Oh! As a Magic player. Magic is no holy bastion of fair and balanced formats, but the mana system hard-codes a certain tempo to the game. You need to use mana to play cards, and you can only add 1 mana to your pool per turn. The entire game is based around how you approach this resource curve. Do you attempt to focus on the low end of the curve and overwhelm your opponent with aggression? Do you defend yourself until you have a high resource pool and then control the pace of the game? This constant to how Magic operates is one of the most defining laws about how the game plays out, and Yu-Gi-Oh! Does not have that. Well, it kinda has that. You can only normal summon 1 monster per turn, but that's such a low bar to hop over. Because you do not have this universal resource tax on playing your cards, you are, in theory, the most powerful on your first turn. There's nothing stopping you from playing spells and traps and special summoning monsters other than unique micro restrictions the cards can enact to try and control the chaos. As the game goes on, you are realistically going to play more cards than you can normally draw, meaning that over time, the amount of options at your disposal is less and less. Obviously, this isn't always the case, as many decks have different ways to circumvent this entropic nature of play, but it's worth noting that unlike Magic, where your opening hand is a gaze into your future, in Yu-Gi-Oh! The opening hand is the present, and it is live from Jump Street. It's all gas, no brakes. But also because of this, a massive well of complexity opens up. Because you start with all these live options, it becomes a fight against yourself to properly execute your game plan, and it can be fucking difficult to do so correctly. This isn't to say Yu-Gi-Oh! Isn't an interactive game, hello Ass Blast and Joyous Soyous, but that half the battle is properly building your port state before you even know what your opponent could possibly be playing. The other aspect of complexity is that Yu-Gi-Oh! Does not split up formats the way Magic does. It's all one eternal format with trimming done by the ban list. This means that there is a nearly unfathomable amount of knowledge checks for new players with massive amounts of potential decks you could run into. Sure, you could look over the top 20 most relevant decks or so, but what are you gonna do when someone runs up on you with Drytron? Pull out the fucking combo chart and study it before the turn counter ends? Unless you have a fucking PhD, I don't think so, my dude. It's so daunting for someone re-entering the game for what is realistically the first time, but it's also this exciting wild west of unexplored options. It helps that Master Duel as a client is really good. Everything I've said up until now is about Yu-Gi-Oh! The base card game, but Master Duel, the actual game experience, rules. It animates great, it has exciting cut-ins for big-time important monsters or effects, and I cannot compliment the soundtrack enough. This combination of Middle Eastern sounds and key scales combines with low-intensity tension like you would hear in the Jagged Alliance 2 menu music. It's so good that I do not want to play with the sound off. The audio aspect really adds something, I swear. There's also this bountiful amount of solo content as you have these little deck/archetype explanation thingies. I'm not sure how many of these really lead to decks you could realistically take on ranked, but there are a lot of them. You get good resources from them, and anything that can help onboard people a little bit is helpful because there's really no deck tech tutorial in here, and I can't even blame them for it. Master Duel is by no means perfect. Being a best of one format makes deck building decisions like sideboarding irrelevant. There has been a middling effort of support from Konami for the clients. Max C is at 3 until the heat death of the universe, fucking help me. But it is the easiest way to be playing Yu-Gi-Oh! And it seems to have done its job in getting a lot of people back into the game, myself included.